When the school ends, I was walking to my school bus to get home, right? And I was planning so much stuff, whether which would I do first when I got home. Have you ever wondered what the future might look like? Would life be easier, or would life be harder? In a world where everything is moving faster from time to time, the future feels more uncertain than the past. And with new challenges, as we know today, AI or artificial intelligence, and how our daily life is becoming more technological every day. And I've noticed this myself because I've started to use AI to help with my schoolwork, especially for GAC. And I'm kind of sure everyone in here has used AI once in their life. Has anyone here never used AI before? In our day-to-day basis, as humans, along the way, we have experienced many challenges and obstacles, but at the end of the day, to become the best versions of ourselves. I'm a student, and some problems that I face are from grades that will define my future and expectations from my loved ones when I'm moving up each stages of my life. When I'm thinking about the future, I sense that one problem that could happen is jobs might be found harder due to these AI. This is a quote from as early as the 1930s. There was an economist named John Maynard Keynes. He introduced the idea of technological unemployment, which warned that technological advancements would replace human labor. And this was far, far long ago, but when I read through his idea, I thought it was pretty true and would be so much clearer in the future. This is a chart stating AI job replacements from the year 2025 to 2030. By 2030, it could replace up to 300 million full-time jobs. But this is still a projection. It is not 100% accurate. But the reason that I'm showing you this chart today is it highlights how AI is getting more involved in our life and how our future is going to change with these new developments. So in the middle of all these problems, I started to wonder, how could it be peaceful when the future is becoming more uncertain? As I've said, I've faced problems from grades and expectations from others and sometimes myself. With the rise of AI rising very rapidly in our generation, I thought of the future generations. I think it would be so much harder because there will be more comparison and competition between each individual. And imagine learning at that time. It would be so much harder and faster because these advancements have already been made. So if people don't understand something, they could just ask and then they got the answer. So I started to wonder, will the students or the person at that time, would they ever felt left out in this ever-changing world? Because we have no idea at all how much the future is going to change by then. And this constant pressure can lead students to have a fear of the future. It also happens to me when I'm thinking about the future. I ask myself, would I have enough money? Will I have a job? Or can I live without my parents? And all of those stuff. And it made me felt like it's very uncertain, even though I'm not even in the future yet. And it kind of made me less worthy about myself. But as time gone by, I've started to see myself looking at this problem as a journey. A journey where you collect experiences from all the moments you've gained. Yes, the future might be uncertain, but that's not the real matter. The real matter is, it's how we stay peaceful while we're walking towards the uncertainness. In our day-to-day lives, we have experienced both bad and good moments. And when bad things or bad moments happen, we tend to question ourselves, are we enough? Or why don't things just go our way? And that's completely normal because we're all humans. But the reason that I'm standing here today is I want to say that we can actually be more familiar with these thoughts and actually cope with them. The most important part is noticing the goods in the bads. Whenever you're in a bad situation or anything, you can just go back and sit and ask yourself, what are something a little bit nice in that part of the bad times that made you realize? Just anything that is little could help you gain a bit of peace. For me, there was once a time that I was feeling so overwhelmed by schoolwork. It was the start of year 10 GAC because I wasn't a student into studying that much. But as I've started year 10, I started to focus more about myself. But there was a lot of things going on. So when the school ends, I was walking to my school bus to get home, right? And I was planning so much stuff, which would I do first when I got home. But along the way there, I saw a little cat, and it made me happy for no absolute reason at all. It made me snap out of all those thoughts for like 5 seconds, but it makes me happy. And I felt like actually that creates a little bit of sense of peace throughout the day. And when I arrived home, I was greeted by my dog, Summer. He was always waiting for me when I got home. But I was still exhausted from all the schoolwork and everything. So when he came to play with me, I was a little bit angry at him. And when I thought back at those times, I felt bad because I should have done that because he's always been waiting for me every day. But it is true that when you're going through a lot of things, you miss those tiny things that's always been there in your life. And that's for those people who have any pets at home. Don't forget to play with them every day. It is hard to accept who we are at first because we're all humans. We need to practice before we're getting good at anything, right? But I believe that if we open up to ourselves at the bad times, whether if you have so much things in your mind, just try to look at it as these thoughts. How can I actually look at it as a good thing? A little habit that I've done every day when I've experienced some bad moments in my life is appreciating little things. It can be as little as, for some students, waking up for go to school, or for some parents here, waking up to go to work and finding some money. And I think that are some like tiny stuff that when we actually, in a world where everything is moving faster, we talk a lot to other people, but we don't usually talk to ourselves often. And I think by doing this actually helps you to create a little bit of peace, just day by day, but constantly by doing the things I've said, noticing and appreciating little things. So lastly, I want to say is peace exists every day, even in the bad days. It helps you shape who we are today from all the experience you've gained. As I've said, think of it like a journey where you actually collect all those good and bad moments to be who we are. As I wrote here, even though the future is uncertain, peace still exists. Because I believe that no matter how the world is going to change, if there's going to be robots, but if humans are still humans at that time, I believe that it wouldn't have been changed that much. So next time, if your life ever feels uncertain, just ask yourself, what can I notice now that helps me to move forward, rather than things I can't control in the wild future? Thank you.